thanks everyone for joining this evening for our middle school town hall meeting. We are so pleased to be with you and provide you with a lot of division specific information tonight and hopefully answer all of your questions before we get back to school next week. So we've got a few quick reminders for you. First up, as a reminder, all lines are muted, so we will unfortunately not be able to hear you, but we will be able to connect with you tonight through our chat feature. So please do open up the chat button at the bottom of your screen and ask questions throughout tonight's presentation. So as you hear our presenters share details, and if you have questions come to mind, ask those right away. We will do our best to address those questions quickly. And then we'll also have an open Q&A session here at the end of our time where we will address larger questions with the full audience. I also wanted to remind you all to update your view options at the bottom of your screen. If you can't see everything, please feel free to move things around and adjust that view option so that you can see everything well. So with that, wanted to share a few save the dates. You all likely saw these during our town hall meeting last night with the full community, but wanted to keep these in front of you. So divisional town hall meetings, you're clearly on the middle school town hall right now. But if you have kiddos in other divisions, please do tune in tomorrow for the lower school or upper school town hall meetings. We have a variety of Meet the Teacher opportunities coming up here soon. And then of course, our first day of school is next Thursday. We can't wait to have you back. More save the date information. So we have quite a few parent connection opportunities coming up that are sponsored by our PTF, our Parent Teacher Fellowship. Next Thursday on the first day of school, we have our Boohoo Yahoo program, which is an opportunity for parents to gather after drop-off. So we will meet on the football field, and this is a time where we really celebrate and honor our kindergarten and senior parents, but we invite everyone to join us. Whether you are sad about the first day of school and leaving your little ones at school, or very happy about maybe some newfound freedom that you'll have. So join us on the first day of school for that. We've got PTF kickoff coming up here soon. We'll gather in the upper school courtyard, and this is also an opportunity to welcome our new LCA moms. So if you're new to our community, we encourage you to show up for that. And then Dad's Boot Camp. We've got something for the dads. So at the football field, we will join together, hear from our head football coach, Coach Scott Smith, and then also from Jose Ruiz, who is an LCA dad. So join us for that. We've also got Eagle Mama coming up here soon. That's our virtual women's ministry on Wednesday the 26th. If you missed the first Spirit Shop and used uniform sale, we've got another one for you on the 29th. So join us on Saturday the 29th in the South Campus Gym. And then last but certainly not least, virtual men's and women's Bible studies are coming up here soon. So we'll get started in September with our men's and women's Bible studies. Also wanted to share that the LCA Spirit Shop is online and ready for you. And we have all sorts of great new stuff, including buffs and masks and water bottles and new apparel. So if you're looking for those items, please take a look. Most of those items are available for pre-order right now, so you don't want to miss that opportunity. And wanted to make sure that you're aware of our app. This is a great communication tool that we use to share updated information with you all, and also notifications. So please go to your app store on your device, search for Legacy Christian Academy Frisco, and download. We have included passwords this year, so please be sure to note these passwords as you're gaining access. But certainly download, and then also opt into the notifications, because those are very important. So with that, I'm going to turn things over to our head of school, Mr. Bill McGee, to open us in prayer and share some remarks.
All right, thank you, Shannon, and good afternoon, everyone. It's good to be with you again. If you have children in multiple divisions, you're going to see me quite a bit, or see or hear from me quite a bit over the next 3 days. But we welcome you to this informational session, and as Shannon said, we hope that we'll be able to answer all, if not most, of your questions as you prepare for the first day of school. Let me open us in prayer, as is our tradition. Father, I thank you for this time again with our parents and our faculty, support staff, administrators who are united in our desire to provide the best Christ-centered education possible for our children. Thank you for all the hard work that's gone before our first day of school that has been accomplished to this point. I thank you for just the dedication, commitment of leaders, of teachers as they prepare diligently for a new school year and as they prepare for multiple scenarios. For we don't know the future. We don't know what environment we're going to be in even tomorrow. And so, but we do know this, Father, and we take comfort in the fact that you know the future, that the future is in your hands and we're in your hands. And that is the best place to be. So I dedicate this time to you. And I thank you for your grace and mercy, which is new every day. And it's in your son's name I pray. Amen. All right. Well, before I hand it over to Ms. Joy Bell, our new middle school principal, I wanted to go over again the different operating modalities. And it was announced, if you were on our community-wide town hall yesterday, that we are in level 3. I did have a question and I wanted to answer that question up front. How do we determine which level we are in? And the answer to that is an internal decision. In other words, these are not necessarily tied with any government organization or any educational organization. These are our modalities that we gave a lot of thought to during the course of the summer. And so they are certainly informed by where we are with the infection rate. They're informed by recommendations of the CDC, of the governor's office, of Denton County. So they are informed by science and by other organizations, but the decision as to which level we're in is made by the leadership team itself. And so I can assure you they are well researched, and the level we decide to operate on is driven by our desire to provide the safest possible campus environment for your children and for our faculty. So wanted to clarify that. Secondly, I do want to correct and clarify the face covering issue. It was reported yesterday that face shields are a proper substitute for masks, for cloth masks. And, that is based a lot on conflicting opinions regarding whether face shields are as effective as the masks. And the one thing we talked about yesterday about the VUCA world, volatility, uncertainty, complexity, and ambiguity. One thing's for certain, our government officials and those organizations that make recommendations also fall into that VUCA world. Sometimes their directions, their recommendations are not always clear and they can be ambiguous. So in those cases where an interpretation is needed, we turn to one of our crisis management teams, and in this case, our student and community health and wellness team, which was put together for this very purpose. We have 2 physicians on that team, one pediatrician who specializes in COVID-19 and another primary care physician. And at their recommendation, we are going to require a cloth mask for all of our students in middle and upper school, unless there is a medical exception. Obviously, if there is respiratory issues or there is anxiety issues and there is a medical exemption, face shield at that point would be appropriate. But for everyone else, and this includes teachers, visitors to the campus, certainly all of our staff, administration, and our students will wear a cloth mask. And a little bit later in our presentation, Coach Joey Roach, our middle school dean, will talk about the guidelines for those masks. And I think Miss Angie Detloff will also discuss the face covering as well in her presentation. But I wanted to correct that and clarify that. And, again, parents, that decision may actually change in a week. Who knows? Right now, all we can go on is information that we have today. There are other factors that may change that decision. And so we always reserve the right to change that decision based on updated information. And so we would appreciate your understanding and patience with us. But for right now, when we start on August 13th, all middle and upper school students will be required to wear a cloth face covering or mask. So wanted to clear that. And now I'm going to turn it over to our middle school principal, who will then introduce members of her team. So Dr. Joy Bell, take it away.
Mr. McGee, thank you so much. I am so excited. You know the feeling, the Christmas morning feeling when the kids wake you up way too early because they're excited about what is happening under that tree. That's how we feel currently as we are awaiting the arrival of your sweet children. And so I want to talk with you about a couple things as we are doing that. So there are a couple of announcements just to remind you. A couple of you have emailed me about the Meet the Teacher. In this year, only new middle school families are invited on campus on Wednesday morning to meet with faculty. I'll be here and ask any pressing questions. We will also have opportunity to meet with Mrs. Smith, who will address some of the schedule issues and concerns that you may have. She is a great resource for us as it relates to change requests that you may wish to make. Those schedule changes, this is a different year. And right now, our classrooms are based on the CDC recommendations. So your child may seek to be in an art class and move from choir, but another student will need to come out of that class in order for there to be space. So we're asking for grace and patience with us as we're working through not as many spaces available. And so we will do the best that we can. Please send in your request. We want to honor those requests, but we want you to understand that those are based on space limitations that are set forth for us here. Early release, listen, we heard your cry in many ways in terms of the schedule and that the early release really didn't support your families. We went back to the schedule table and we're able to find ways to provide our teachers back their planning time, which excites me more than I can express, but also to give you back the full day of Wednesday. So at this point in time, we no longer have the early release that was scheduled for Wednesdays. You have full days, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. You don't need to find a place to bring your middle schooler on Wednesday. They will be here with us until normal car lines. Many of you early this week should have received from me a recorded Zoom on the Flex program. I will go into great detail with that, but take a look at that program. If you're interested in it, I'd like you to contact our Dean of Students, Joey Roach, and there's the email address there. We will share this with you so you'll have all of the information that you need. We want you to understand that this is an opportunity for you to sort of flex your muscles in terms of location, but we have guidelines that we want to be clear about that particular program. One of the things that's really important for us to be clear about, especially in the Flex, is that we have two definitions now for absence: absent ill or absent choice. So if your student is absent, whether it's from the physical classroom or from the daily responsibilities of the classroom, and sick, then there are certain expectations that they will have because they're ill, and we will make those accommodations. But if your child is absent from the physical classroom by choice, and that means a flex, then they are still responsible for all of the expectations as our on-campus students. Lunch. We talked about lunch. Lunch is so important to us, and it's also important to us as it relates to your children. Lunch will be held in classrooms. Students may bring lunch from home or pre-order from Sage. At this time, we do plan for students to eat in their classrooms. Lunches ordered from Sage will be delivered to classrooms. This will require, and this is important, an online pre-order system with a simplified menu. I believe Mr. Dyer referenced that yesterday, that you should be receiving some communication regarding that. Food allergies and special dietary restrictions should be accommodated. The question has come up more than not, will microwaves be available? Yes, for the middle school, they will be available and strategically placed so that students will be able to warm up food from home. Next slide. Start and end times. We've made one small adjustment with the end times. Start times will begin at 8:45. Class will begin for the 5th through 8th graders. 7th and 8th grade athletics will occur before school. We will have 3:30 dismissal. That's 5th through 8th. 5th through 8th grade will be dismissed at 3:30. No early release. Let me say that again. No early release. Dismissal for all of the students in the middle school will be at 3:30. Siblings will be dismissed together with the older students' time. So if you have a student in the lower school, they will be dismissed with the middle school because it's a later time. We do not want you to have to come back through the car line twice. Details are being confirmed and will be sent to you by your divisional principals. We have a lot of learning modes happening this year, as you can imagine. We have on campus, we have a flex option, distance learning option, and LCA online. For the on-campus option, that's in-person learning, full services and program. We will follow COVID protocols. We will have lunch and break in rooms and a rotation, and we'll be able to go out on the outside. For the flex option, remember that is a short-term or long-term off-campus option with flexibility upon school notification. That is a full tuition option. Full services and programming will occur. Assessments on campus or proctored at home. A blend of synchronous and asynchronous. It's more independent in nature, but your child will have access to teachers online during office hours. Our third learning mode is a distance learning mode. All students are online for a designated time period due to COVID interruptions. That's when Mr. McGee sends out an announcement that we are now in a distance learning mode. That means we're all working from home. We will have synchronous learning that will be more prevalent than not. All assessments will be online or proctored at home. And last but not least, we have the LCA online. This is a reduced tuition option, non-LCA teachers, that's the 7-star model, and no additional services. So those are the 4 learning modes that we will offer in this year. Now, flex learning. If you had an opportunity to listen to my recording, you've heard this. And if you have, I apologize, please bear with me. I'm going to say it one more time. We want to be clear with families of what it is and what flex is not. Flex learning is access to the LCA learning content. It is not guaranteed access to synchronous content. Flex learning is an opportunity to collaborate with teachers online through appointment. It is not 24/7 access to a teacher for individual instruction. Flex learning is a choice based on personal comfort level over a couple weeks or more. It is not a daily or hourly choice based on personal preference or how prepared your student is. Flex learning is sequenced learning opportunity in coordination with the pace of the traditional class. Flex learning is not a self-paced curriculum with flexible due dates and timelines. Flex learning is checking in at a scheduled class time and receiving all materials needed by the end of the day. Flex learning is not all class material available during the synchronized scheduled class time. Flex learning is engaging with scheduled classes daily and posted material when available. Flex learning is not engaging material when it is convenient for the student. Flex learning is an online program with occasional live assessments on campus. Flex learning is not 100% online program like LCA online. Flex learning is qualified participation in athletics and other services. Flex learning is not a come and go status for athletics or other extracurricular programs. I would love to introduce a new person to the middle school. Now, Mrs. Jennings is not new to LCA, but in this year, she will serve primarily in the middle school in these areas: academic engagement, parental support. She will help to support our teachers and families in these platforms: RenWeb, Aspire, Schoology. She will also add to my newsletter that comes to our families every week, and we will call that Courtney's Corner. And she'll provide our families tips to help to support as we are navigating new challenges academically as well. And then Mrs. Jennings will also offer teacher support. We are so excited already to have Mrs. Jennings here. Mrs. Jennings, can you say a few words to our families?
Hi, everyone. I am so excited to be more a part of the middle school this year. And this is my third year here at Legacy, and I absolutely love it. I know people probably get tired of me saying that, but I absolutely do. And I am very excited of being able to be more of a support to you and the teachers here in the middle school level. I still will be a part of the lower school and helping teachers with them on various things as well, but will be really directed towards middle school for teacher engagement, for parental support, and the different platforms that we have, along with the engagement of academics with your children, which is such a wonderful spot in my heart. So thank you so much for having me, and I look forward to working with all of you. And now I'd like to introduce Kelly Rothaker, who is our Legacy Learning Center Specialist.
Hello, good evening. My name is Kelly Rothaker, and I am the Middle School Learning Center teacher or Learning Specialist. Our mission in the Learning Center is to provide a supportive environment. This facilitates academic awareness in the areas of learning, self-advocacy, and organizational habits that lead to success. It is designed to provide support for students with diagnosed learning differences and/or ADHD in order to maximize their potential for success within the LCA curriculum and to prepare them for college. In order to qualify for the LLC, a student must have completion of a formal battery of tests, including academic and achievement testing. Test results must be current within 3 years for grades 3 and up, and the students must have a functional limitation, meaning there's an educational need for accommodations and support. The vast majority of the LLC students have a high IQ with learning differences and ADHD attached. Myself and the Learning Center assistant, Tony Thrash, have been preparing our Learning Center and testing rooms this summer and are so excited to welcome our students back next week. We will continue to provide services in the Learning Center with proper physical distancing. Accommodation plans will be developed at the beginning of the school year and will be implemented in the classroom. Students will still have an LLC period in their schedule, and we will have a quiet testing room available during all class periods. We work closely with the middle school teachers and know that your students are receiving a great education along with support from the Learning Center. If you have any questions regarding the LLC, please don't hesitate to reach out to me. We know this year will look different, but we're excited to see our students and are committed to providing all of our supporting services and accommodations. And now I will pass it over to Mr. Joey Roach.
Well, hello, middle school families. We are excited for the start of a new school year and seeing all of our students return and walk in the hallways. It just gives us a thrill in our heart to be able to see everyone again. And welcome to our new families. And we're looking forward to getting to know your students, getting to know what's important to your students, and fulfilling our promise to know your child, love your child, and prepare your child. I have just a few things that I want to go over with you this evening regarding car lines. Our morning car lines, the doors will open at 8 a.m. and that is at the west entrance of the South Campus. That is the big, beautiful entrance facing Legacy Avenue. And so if you guys will follow the car line map to those doors, we will be taking temperatures there before your student gets out of the car. So when does car line start? doors open at 8 p.m. So they will not be able to get out of the car and come into the building before 8 p.m. And we want your students to stay in the car until we have taken their temperature and they have been cleared to enter the school building. So if you're arriving before 8:30, your middle school student will need to go to the cafeteria for a morning study hall. They will be socially distanced, and we will ask them to keep their mask on during that time. At 8:30 a.m., they will be dismissed to go upstairs. So taking the temperatures will be done by our staff while you're in the car lines. We're asking that this be a second layer of prevention for you. It is best if you have already taken their temperatures before you arrive at the car lines, in case you're busy trying to get to the airport or getting to an important meeting, because if your student does have a fever, you will need to take your student home at that time and contact your physician, and we will contact our school nurse to let her know that your student has checked in with a temperature that morning. If you're walking from home, you're close enough, you live in the neighborhood close by, and you're walking from home, if your student comes in and checks in with a temperature, we will have to call you to have you come pick up your student, and we will have a location for those students to be in a safe place, socially distanced from others until you arrive to be able to pick them up. Again, the afternoon car lines will begin at 3:30. And we're asking that you have your family car line tag visible in the window, as we will have staff going through the car lines, and your students will be up in their classrooms, and we're going to contact those teachers to let them know that you have arrived to pick up your student. And so it just makes it easier on our staff if you have that family car tag there, so that we can contact the teacher that has your student and get them down to you as quickly as possible. If you don't have your family car tag yet, you can go to the website right there, legacyca.com, and get that filled out and register for that. The next thing we'll talk about, middle school athletics. Lots of questions about middle school athletics. We hope that this will answer several of your questions for you. But, and then our middle school athletic director, Scott McCullum, is also on standby to answer any of your questions this evening. But our volleyball team, open gym, will be August 13th through the 21st. So that's the first day of school, August 13th and 14th, and then that whole next week at 7 a.m. in the middle school gym. Temperatures will be taken, and the coaches will be there with the girls during this time. And then the tryouts are going to be Saturday, August 22nd from 9 a.m. To 12 p.m. in the upper school gym. So just note that the tryouts will actually be in the upper school gym on Saturday, August 22nd. And then regular practice for those who make the team will begin on Monday, August 24th at 7 a.m. in the middle school gym. Temperatures will be taken every morning before practice begins as they're coming into the building. Now, football practice will begin Wednesday, August the 19th at 6:45 a.m. Now, where we want the students from August 13th through the 18th, the football players have been told by the coaching staff to arrive at school no earlier than 8:30 on the 13th, 14th, and on the 17th and 18th. Now, on the 19th for practice, meeting at 6:45 a.m., meet at the football field house. You'll enter the gate on the east side of that field house. And temperatures will be taken before they are allowed to practice that day. Our cheerleading team is all set, ready to go, and they will begin practice at 7 a.m. in the upper school gym, not in the middle school gym. Volleyball will be in there. Upper school gym for the cheerleaders at 7 a.m. Just some general information. The games will have been all pushed back to after Labor Day, so we ask that you check the schedules at our Legacy athletic website there. Athletic forms also need to be filled out at this site, so click there under the quick links to the proper link, and you can log into your parent account, or if you already have one. If you don't, you can create one there, and this is where you will complete all of your applicable TAPS paperwork. As I said, Coach McCullum is on standby there on our chat room to answer any of your questions that you have about that. And then we also have some mask guidelines. We have some guidelines here. Our goal with our guidelines is to help each student remain focused on their schoolwork, honor our LCA uniform standards, and to ensure that no undue or negative attention is ever drawn to any of our students. So here's what we're saying. Our masks or buffs may be of single or multicolor with nondescript writing, pictures, or logos. That means we don't want any writing on them, no pictures or emojis or logos, except for, here's our exceptions, an LCA issued or LCA Spirit mask may be worn any day. And, you know, we're going to go ahead, if as long as it's not Oklahoma or Alabama, we're going to allow you to wear your college spirit mask any day that they want to on that. I know many of you have purchased those already and are excited about those. And okay, we will allow Oklahoma and Alabama. But that's all we have for now. And so at this time, I'm going to pass things over to our wonderful and amazing middle school administrative assistant, Miss Jamie Smith.
Thank you, Joey. As Joey said, my name is Jamie Smith, and I'm the middle school administrative assistant. And my position is to support Dr. Bell and the teachers, but I also want to provide assistance to you as the parents. I want you to know that I'm happy to help you. Feel free to call me, or better yet, email me with any questions. I'm here to serve you, and I want to help you with any of those unanswered questions. I may not have the answer to all of them, but I'll be glad to dig and find that answer and information. So just know that I'm available to you at any time. So reach out to me. We are excited and looking forward to seeing your children. We have missed them tremendously, and look forward to the start of school. And now we're back to Dr. Bell.
All right, everyone. I am so excited and looking forward to introducing you to these wonderful, wonderful team leads. I'm a little biased here. I have the best division and best teachers in the whole school. And I have the best leads as well. And so we have 5th grade lead Candy Lowe. I want you to see their pictures and their smiling faces. We have Kathy Watts. She's our 6th grade lead. We have Heather Kleckler, who's our 7th grade lead. And we have Cheryl Beck, who's our 8th grade lead. And I want you to see their faces because they are supporting me tremendously and also supporting their teams, getting information and all sorts of great things. And so I want you to see their smiling faces, know that they're there as a line of support. We also have them online right now. So if you have any questions that are specifically for a specific grade, they're there, ready, willing, and able to answer them. Now I would like to send this next moment to Dr. Lana Sneer.
Sorry, forgot to unmute myself. Thank you so much, Joy. I love town halls. It only makes me sad because I can't see you, and that's difficult for me because I like to put faces with everybody. So, but hello to all of our middle school families. As I was thinking about this year, I really started thinking a lot about about last year and how God has just completely gone before us in so many different ways. And I know that, you know, through all the pandemic and all the fears that we've often felt untethered, we felt like we're, like uncharted waters, but it's not uncharted waters. God has gone through and charted out a perfect path. And I really do feel that with our students this year as we're getting ready to bring them back on campus. Last year, we really focused in on knowing your child. Mr. McGee talked about that a lot. We talked about that a lot in the middle school, how important it was that we know each child, that we know them by name, that we know their interests, that we know what's important to them. And I don't think that that was coincidence, that was our goal last year. I think that was God's divine intervention, that we needed to know these babies because we weren't going to have them for the full year. And so this year, we really just have a goal in the counseling department to dig even deeper. Our heart is not enough to know your child. Our heart is to know them at a deeper level and to be connected to your child in a way that you are the only one that is more connected to them. So we're going to be doing that in multiple layers and in multiple different ways. I think first off, it's going to be the one-on-one counseling. I'm still going to be available. If the students are on campus, then they're in my office if they need me. I can meet with them one-on-one in my office. If they're off campus, we can still continue to have one-on-one counseling sessions. It worked pretty good last year to have, I have a Calendly schedule set up, and people could get on there and set appointments. You can always reach out to me via email during the school year if we are off campus, and I can do one-on-one Zoom counseling sessions with your kids. We also want to connect with your kids in group activities and in small groups. That can, on campus, that's going to just be some activities that we have in our classrooms and stuff. We're going to start a program this year that I'm calling our cord groups. It's based on Ecclesiastes 4:12. You know, let me read that to you. The one may be overpowered, two can defend themselves, but a cord of 3 strands is not quickly broken. And so we're going to be grouping the kids in groups of 3s and making them accountability partners, checking in on each other, carrying your partner, carrying the load for your partner, knowing when your partner's struggling. Our kids are going to be the eyes and the ears on each other, as well as us being eyes and ears on them. So that will be happening on campus and off campus. Also, when we're off campus, I'm going to do a lot of group activities. We did jam boards in the spring. The kids love jam boards. I'll continue to do those. I'll continue to do some group sessions. I will email parents when I'm doing those group sessions. I can email and set out for a group session with kids, and kids don't respond. So you'll get an email out from me saying, hey, I want to get together with the 5th grade girls and do a lunch bunch, or I want to get together with the 8th grade boys and just have a conversation about stuff. So I'll reach out in that way so that we can connect our kids while they're off campus. We'll also be doing a lot of social emotional work in the classroom. I'm going to help the teachers embed some things into their lessons so that we can be monitoring how kids are doing emotionally just during a regular classroom, assessing where they are, but also having some activities designed just to pull things out so that we can kind of have flags that we can look for in kids that may be struggling. We're going to have our LCAU, and as we always have, but given the pandemic, we'll be focusing on some real timely and specific topics. I'm more excited about our LCAU program this year than I have been in the past, because in our program this year, the teachers will be in classes of 12 to 14. And so they'll have an opportunity to really connect with those kids. It'll become also more of an advisory time. So when we're discussing these timely topics about peer pressure or fears and anxieties or relationship conflict, then we will have a great opportunity to talk to these kids in a small group setting. And that allows them to connect one-on-one with their teachers as well. And then there's going to be more of community connection. I will continue to do my weekly video chats, some sent out to the kids and to the parents. I'm going to have a weekly, I think bi-weekly section in Joy's blog. So I'll have a section there as well. We will continue to have our pep talks. I think we'll have 2 of those in the fall and 2 of those in the spring. Those will probably come via Zoom or video. So, and then I want to stress over and over again, I am accessible to you. I am not just your kid's school counselor. I am the Legacy Lower School counselor, and you are Legacy Lower School. So that's middle school all the way down. So if you need me, you can reach out to me. You know, when our kids are home and we're in distance learning and things are falling apart, or you see signs and red flags, I want you to know that that's the time you can reach out to me, and I'm accessible to give you a phone call, to video chat with you. So this is not your kid's counselor. I am your family's counselor. So so lots of layers on how the middle school is going to be connecting, but that's kind of my word for the year is connect, connect, connect. We know them. Now we want to connect to them in a deeply enriched way. So I look forward to meeting all of you and seeing you again on campus. I'm going to turn over to Adam.
Thank you, Dr. Sneer. I am excited to be with you. As Dr. Bell said, she's got the best teachers. I am a little biased. I think you have the best question facilitators here. So we do have a few questions for you. I want to thank all of our teachers that are behind the scenes answering questions. They're doing an excellent job. We only have a few for the general Q&A, so if you've been holding your question, now would be the time to get it out. I've got 3 that I'm going to start with. And I think, Dr. Bell, you may have answered this in the chat, but I know we have a number of families on to whom it will be applicable. If we have middle and lower school students, which door do we drop off at?
Yes, so Mrs. McCullen and I are working on the details of that. The assumption is that if your child is a lower school child, the carpool line is earlier. Ours now is at 3:30, so that we're going to somehow get them from one side to the other so that you don't have to make 2 trips through the car line. So you should receive information, either myself or Mrs. McCullen, within the week, within the next couple of days, letting you know what the procedure is for that.
All right, perfect. We had a question from a few families. If we purchased a personalized dentist uniform mask, can we wear it? And I will tell you, I think the answer that I've seen is yes, you can wear those masks if you purchase those from Dentist Uniform. If anything, that will help us from, will help kids from losing their masks, or if they do, we'll know to whom they belong. So if you purchased a personalized Dentist Uniform mask, yes, you can wear that. Joey, this may come to you or Dr. Bell, I'm not sure which one. For off-campus PE students, what time do they arrive and at what door should they arrive?
Well, we do not have off-campus, the off-campus PE program for this year. So they would just need to arrive at 8:30 at the west doors.
Okay, thank you. And this is maybe a general question. I'm not sure who wants to chime in with it, but I'll toss it to Dr. Bell first and she can defer if she needs to. Are the kids carrying their books around from class to class since they're not using lockers this year? And how will the logistics of that work?
Yes, they will be carrying their backpacks around. We are not using lockers, so everything that they need will be in their book sacks. We feel like that's the best model in terms of keeping the students at a physical distance, appropriate space, and so that's what's happening this year. No lockers, book sacks will be carried from class to class.
Okay. Another question for you, Dr. Bell. Schedules. I've seen several parents chime in on the chat and ask, schedules, are they out? And if so, where do we get them?
Yes, schedules right now, families, you should be, and I know they're out because some families have asked for request change. If you visit RenWeb, then you will have access to your student schedule. If there are any changes, requests, questions that you may have, we're asking again that you reach out to Mrs. Smith as a first line, and then she will get that information to whomever needs as it relates to explaining maybe a course name or why your child is in a particular class.
Okay, I think that may be all our questions. I have seen a couple questions come in at the end. Do we need to bring any supplies besides backpacks on the first day of school?
Teachers, can one of our leads chime in?
I'll chime in. All the student school supplies will be delivered to them that first day of school. You shouldn't have to purchase anything except for the backpack of your child's choice.
Okay.
Hey, Adam, I saw just a few more that I might.
Yes, go ahead, Shannon.
Sure. So Dr. Bell, I'm going to go to you, but you may defer. 8th grade trip, what is the plan? Is it happening?
Well, that's a great question. All of our trips are planned. We're planning on having all of those pieces, but again, that really is based on what's happening in the world around us. So we're reserving the right to move those if need be, or to cancel them. At this point in time today at 5:46, we are still on for those trips. We have no intention of canceling them, but again, that's based on what's happening in our nation, in our community, in our world, and then we can provide additional information to families at that time.
Another one, and I might go to Coach Roach on this one for athletics. Flex students, can they participate in athletics?
Yes, at this time, what I was told today, Flex students do have athletics available to them.
Perfect, great. Adam, did you catch any more questions in the chat?
I did. I caught a few more. I'm going to go to Dr. Bell with 2 questions. Can students bring lunch money from home, or are we a cashless system this year?
That's a good question, and I don't know the answer to that. Can someone else chime in?
So
yes.
I just saw Bill Dyer. Yes, we're a cashless
yes, so we are a
system
cashless system. Yes.
Okay, so all lunches will have to be pre-ordered. I should have alluded to that in the question. I apologize.
Okay.
And then I saw some conversation about off-campus PE. Can we clarify one more time if that's available or not this year, Dr. Bell?
Yes. Go ahead, Mr. Coach Roach.
So there is no 7th, 8th PE. So they're either in athletics or just late arrival as in the past, which means that they don't need to be here before 8:30. So at 8:30, all students will be allowed to go upstairs to their first period of the day. So there's no off-campus PE since there is no PE for 7th, 8th grade. PE is for 5th and 6th grade only.
So, Coach, can you clarify? So if they're not playing a sport this year, will they need a PE credit? I think that's probably maybe where the confusion is.
No, not this year.
Okay, so the PE credit is not required for 7th and 8th grade this year.
Correct.
Okay, perfect. Thank you for clarifying that.
Yes, sir.
All right. Shannon, any other questions?
I've got 2 more. So I'm going to go to Dr. Bell again. Dr. Bell, the question is, Flex students, will they still complete their elective work at home? Will they still have access to that material and complete electives at home?
Yes, they will. We are utilizing the Schoology platform across every classroom. So for every subject, the courses and the activities and the videos and assessments and all of those things will be in Schoology, whether we are here or in distance learning, or we're here and someone's flexing at home.
Okay, great. Excellent. Coach Roach, this one's in regard to Carline. Is there any need for folks to wait outside for others to enter, just to create space between students before they enter? Is there a plan there?
No, as we're taking their temperature, I mean, the process will be the spacing. What we don't have that we've had in the past is everybody getting out of their cars at once and just coming in. They will need to wait until we have taken their temperature to exit the car and be able to enter the building. I hope that answered that.
Yeah, I think so. And one more for you that I've seen a couple of pings on is around athletics and the necessity for those athletes to take showers. How will we do that, recognizing that they shouldn't be in the same space for long periods of time without a mask on?
Well, we'll have with the football and then with the volleyball in the gym, they'll have plenty of shower facilities, and the coaches will be dismissing them early enough, and then they will have a rotation of people being able to use the showers, so we don't have too many people in the locker rooms at any one time.
All right, Adam, back to you. Anything else on your end?
Yes, I was going to see if we can go to Courtney Jennings real quick. Courtney, can you elaborate on enrichment classes for middle school?
Sure. Enrichment classes for middle school are going to be kind of a hybrid of sorts. It's going to have Bible devotional time. It's going to be an organizational types study skills of how to study and different opportunities and different ways to do that, along with different ways to how to do devotionals in quiet time and learn that as a student. And they'll also have a component of technology that students will be able to practice on, especially those typing skills that they will need for different classes.
Right. I think that we just had a parent ask if there will be Eagle electives this year. I think Joy can probably speak to that.
There will not. The elective choices that we have are art, band, they're Latin, just the drama. Those are the normal ones. So in this year, we will not offer the Eagle electives.
Okay. Thank you so much. All right, guys. I think those are all the questions we have. So Dr. Bell, I'll turn it back over to you one more time to wrap us up.
Thank you so much. Parents, we are looking forward with great anticipation. Again, we know that these are unprecedented times, and as a result, they bring up all sorts of emotions. But I want you to know that in this building, and I've been here for a couple weeks, there's so much love and so much care and so much attention to detail for your students. So I want you to be assured that we are ready to receive them and looking forward to meeting many of you as well. If you will just give me a moment to pray with you, and then we will be done with our divisional town hall. Lord, we are so grateful for this community. We are grateful for Mr. McGee and his leadership. Lord, I'm grateful for this wonderful group of educators, and more than that, of humans that have opened their hearts, their time, their dedication to all of these children that we are so looking forward to welcoming back on campus. Lord, I pray that you will help us as we are navigating different challenges and questions and helping parents to feel comfortable with this model. Lord, I pray that you will be with each and every one of us today and in every day and at all the days to come. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Amen. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Dr. Bell. Thank you to all of our panelists. Thank you to each of you for joining and for your thoughtful questions. We're so appreciative. And we're here to answer those questions. So the conversation does not stop here. If you didn't get your division-specific questions answered, as we mentioned earlier, Jamie Smith is your go-to for middle school. So get in touch with Jamie if you have division-specific questions. All other questions you can direct to questions@legacyca.com. And then we've got a few other resources up on the screen for you just to mark down and remember. And then we also wanted to encourage you, follow us on social media. We share a lot of good information on our Facebook page, our Instagram, our YouTube channel, and even our podcast channel. So all of our town hall meetings are recorded and uploaded on YouTube, and the audio files are uploaded on our podcast channel. So if you can't watch, you can listen. And lastly, just want to say thank you for joining us.